Hello there. These are Manx stories for children of all ages by John Joseph Cacken, and they're really meant for my grandson, Sam Gregory Cacken, who I hope is listening. Right, are you comfortable there? And I'll start. Many, many years ago, when the steam trains ran to Peel and Ramsey, not just to the south of the island as at present, there was a van driver called billyMagee. Now, Billy made his living by delivering goods to farmers all over the Isle of Man in a big van. It could be coal, fencing to keep the animals from roaming, gate posts, furniture, all sorts of things that farmers and their wives would need. But on this day that I'm telling you about, Billy had big sacks of special car food for Ballacurry Farm out of Greba. Now, to get to Ballacurry Farm from Douglas, you drive out on the Peel Road past Greba Bridge and then turn left down Ballacurry Lane, where in those days you came to big white wooden gates across the lane, shutting you off from the railway line. And across the railway line, another big pair of wooden gates did the same thing. And a large notice board said, "Unattended crossing. Please shut the gates." This, of course, was to stop the farmers' cows and sheep straying onto the railway line or road and getting run over. Now, Billy had been there dozens of times and always looked forward to the big mug of tea and buttered soda scone that the farmer's wife had usually freshly made and would have ready for him. My, she was a good cook. So Billy was soon driving down Ballacurry Lane and came to a stop at the railway crossing gates. Out of his big van he climbed and pulled a heavy bolt back on the first gate, pushing the gate back across the railway track until it stopped at the post. And then he pushed the big bolt into position to keep the gate there, and of course did the same to the other gate, opening up the road to the farm, but shutting off the railway track. And then he drove his van across the railway lines. Now, Billy should have stopped and put the gates back the way he'd found them, just as the notice said. But this day he thought he'd be clever, saying to himself, "The morning train has long gone to Peel, and it'll be 2 hours or more before it starts back to Douglas, so I'll shut them dang gates on the way back." And he drove on up to the lane to Ballacurry Farm, where the farmer helped him to unload all those heavy sacks of special food for the baby cows into a big barn. And then Billy and the farmer wiped their muddy boots on the doormat and went into the farmhouse kitchen for that big mug of tea and no soda scone this time, but a big plate of hot mince pies straight from the oven. It was just on Christmas time, you see. Well, there's Billy guzzling away at those scrumptious mince pies and slurping his tea the way he liked to, when suddenly he hears a loud noise. Woo! Woo! It quite startled him. "What's that, yes, sir?" he asked the farmer. And the farmer told him, "That, Billy, is the whistle of the train that's taken Father Christmas to Peel. It's the Santa Claus special." Now, Billy nearly choked on his last mouthful of mince pie. "I didn't know about that," he said, "and I've left the crossing gates across the railway line." "billyMagee!" the farmer shouted. "Get you down there at once and open them." So Billy dashed out of the kitchen, crossed the farmyard to his big van, started it up, and raced down the lane just in time to see the Santa Claus special come chugging round the bend, hooting and tooting like mad. My word, the engine driver was cross. He slammed the brakes on, but the big heavy thing like the train couldn't stop in time, and the buffers on the front of the engine hit the gates with such a crash they flew up in the air in little pieces and came down to earth just the right size for bundles of firewood. And that year many a Christmas dinner was cooked on fires started by those bundles of wood. Of course, the engine wasn't even scratched. Such a big, heavy thing didn't even notice. But the engine driver stopped the train He had to, you see, to make sure that no serious damage was done to the engine and its bits and pieces. And after the farmer had told Billy what he thought of him, he got another telling off from the engine driver and the farmer for making Father Christmas late getting to Peel. And do you know, Billy never, ever left another gate open after him. No, not even a garden gate. Well, that's all for now about billyMagee. Have you had enough yet, or would you like to hear more? You do? Aren't you the glutton for punishment, then?